Hey, what's going on, guys? Adam here with 80 Proof Goods, and in this video I'm going to take you through my process start to finish of making the template and ultimately the final product of my leather desk mat. So the first thing I'm doing here is using a giant piece of acrylic with my Glowforge Pro, using its pass-through slot, which basically lets you cut infinite length of material. And this is my first time actually using this. It took me a couple of days to dial it in, but here in this video I did get it dialed in, making the large version of our leather desk mat that'll be offered in 3 different leather options. This one here I'm going to be using is English Tan Harvest, and I'll stitch it with Auburn thread. This is 16 by 40, which you can see here on that template. So cutting out the template is going to allow me to just trace it on top of a hide every single time I want to make these for an order. So it's kind of a couple of days it took me to dial in the actual template itself, but once that's dialed in with the Glowforge, I don't have to worry about it again. It's going to be set in stone, and I can just trace it every time I want to use it. It's perfect. Now, that again was my first time using the pass-through slot. Worked out pretty well. Took a little bit of trial and error, but it worked. So once I trace things out with the English Tan, I'm using my really long ruler. I've got a rotary cutter blade, which I highly recommend. I'm rounding the edges, so I'm using these rounded chisels. So I'm just punching those out with a mallet, which you couldn't see on camera. And then what I like to do, just to add my own little flair to this and make it a little unique, is roll the edges. Now for desk mats, I'm using a thicker leather than I normally do. It's 5.5 ounces. Usually I use around 3.5 to 4 ounces for most products, but I wanted this to be really durable and feel really high quality, I should say. Now, rolling the edges is a little complicated, so I had to, skive it down, make it a little bit thinner so that when I fold it over, it's not double thick. It's the same thickness as the rest of it, so it sits flush on the desk. And then what I had to do was chop off the corner itself. So I chopped off the rounded corner that I did initially, which was probably a little redundant, but I know what I'm doing here, and it was able to keep it straight in my head, so I just kept going with that process. So once I chopped that off, I showed you that I kind of plan on folding it over. It's going to create a 90-degree angle, and from there I'll lop it off again with my chisels. So once it's folded over with my double-sided adhesive tape that I get from Tandy, I use this kind of rolling pin thing just to flatten it out a lot more, and then I chop out those edges. And as you can see, it rolls really nicely. So the rolled edge will be obviously just fully leather, and then the corners that I round out will get burnished later on. Now, I'm using Auburn thread, like I said, and the plan for this being on the website is you can design your own. All you have to do is pick the leather you like. It's going to be English Tan, Black Harvest, and Evergreen. So you have 3 different options, kind of a tan, brown, black, and green. Now, the Auburn is, in my opinion, a default thread. I think it looks really good on all of the colors, but you can design your own. There's 14 different stitching colors to choose from, and there's going to be 2 different sizes, the one in the video here being the larger one. So you see me just kind of finishing out the little edges that I chopped off in the corners, so it's rounded, hitting it with Tokonole and canvas cloth to burnish it, so it's going to stay together, and it's stitched all the way through, which you can see the underside there. And there you have it. This 16 by 40 is perfect for a little bit of a wider space that you have on your desk. Fits your mouse, notebook, phone, AirPods, different accessories. You can even push it back and put your keyboard there if you want. So at the end of the day, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of this desk pad, if you like this size or you like the smaller one.